On the flight back with Charlotte to finalize our divorce, we both ended up crashing. Before the crash, she said, "If I could do it over, I'd marry Arthur. He's the one who makes life feel alive." When I opened my eyes again, I was back to the day I proposed to her. She dropped the flowers in her hand and ran towards Arthur in the crowd, hugging him tightly. She said, "Arthur, I want to marry you." I realized she had been reborn too, as she wished. I let them be together, but later she regretted it, begging me to take her back on her knees. Arthur hugged her tightly, nodding in disbelief, tears of joy falling as they embraced. The clueless onlookers all cheered and congratulated them, yet someone in the group expressed confusion. Wasn't today supposed to be when Julian proposed to Charlotte? How did it become Arthur's turn? Yeah, isn't Charlotte dating Julian? He invited us here for his proposal, so what's going on now? Did she reject him on the spot and choose Arthur instead? Seems like it. TSK. After being a nice guy for years, Julian still got rejected. Pretty awkward. The two embraced for what seemed like forever. Charlotte then took the microphone. "Thank you all for witnessing our love today. I didn't realize my true feelings before, but now I do. I've always liked Arthur. I missed my chance with him before, but I don't want to in the future. I'm willing to spend the rest of my life with him, holding his hand till the end." She gave me a calm look, saying, "A forced love isn't sweet. We were a mistake. I hope we can part ways peacefully without entangling each other anymore." The ringing in my ears from the explosion faded, and I was back on the day I was going to propose to Charlotte in the previous life. Looking at Charlotte in front of me and recalling her last words about choosing Arthur if given another chance, I knew she was reborn too. Her eyes now had the same look as when she was 38 in the last life, cold and rational. Her years in business lending her a mature and steady aura. But right now, we had just graduated from college and had been dating for 4 years. We had once said we'd get married after graduating, stepping into the next phase of life. So I chose Valentine's Day to inform all our friends, arranging for a giant flower display on the playground to propose to her. Actually, Arthur had something to do with this proposal. Arthur was a year ahead, the lead singer of a band, sunny, handsome, bold, and carefree. He fell for Charlotte at the welcome party and kept approaching her, gifting her breakfast and presents, and creating moments for the two of them to be alone. Even knowing about me, he'd still say, "Well, you're not married yet. Life should be bold. When you meet someone you like, you should go for it. How will you know who's right if you don't try?" Charlotte always gave him the cold shoulder, but Arthur continued to stick by her cheerfully. A frustrated Charlotte hinted at me to propose, so Arthur would realize she wanted to marry me and would never choose him. In the last life, when I proposed to Charlotte, Arthur stood in the front row, wearing a suit and tie, holding a bunch of roses, enthusiastically and flamboyantly shouting to Charlotte, "Have you really thought it through? If you accept his proposal, we'll never have a chance to be together. I'm asking you for the last time. Do you want to be with me?" In the previous life, Charlotte decisively said, "My husband for life will only be Julian. I only love Julian. I hope you won't bother us anymore." But now she called our relationship a mistake and asked me not to cling to it. Facing the curious looks of the crowd around us, I calmly said to them, "Of course. From this moment on, we're over. From now on, the bridge is the bridge and the road is the road. We have no ties anymore." Hearing my words, Arthur let out a sigh of relief, spun her around excitedly, saying, "I knew it. You were meant for me, but you made me wait so long before agreeing to be with me. You have to make it up to me, all right? What do you want? You have to be in the audience every time I sing. Easy, no problem. You and Julian had that mountain declaration and romantic beach thing. You need to do one with me too. Okay, I want you to post on social media telling everyone you like me." "No problem." Charlotte looked at him lovingly, as if he was a treasure she had lost and found again. The crowd clapped and cheered. Kiss, kiss, kiss. My roommates felt for me. Charlotte went too far. Isn't this cheating right in front of everyone? Talking all righteous? But why now? Why not before the proposal? This is just sickening. Exactly. Inviting all classmates here for a proposal and then breaking up in front of everyone, jumping to the next guy seamlessly. A textbook example of a player. I turned to them, saying, "Let's go. Didn't you say there's a bar opening today? Let's go, it's on me." Watching me drink one glass after another calmly, they worriedly advised me to let it go, saying I shouldn't be sad over someone like that. By then, Goodbye. There'll be someone even better. I smiled, holding on to them, saying that I was actually happy. Leaving her truly made me happy. Charlotte and I grew up next door to each other. We were childhood friends from families of similar backgrounds. Everyone assumed we'd end up together because our families did. We encouraged each other through everything. We promised to start dating once we got into college and marry after graduation. It all seemed to happen naturally. But in our last life, after we got married, life got busy with work, everyday chores, and raising kids. Gradually, our relationship faded. Charlotte often said life felt too smooth and lacked excitement. Meanwhile, Arthur became a popular rock singer. Charlotte was captivated by his passionate performances at music festivals. She'd watch his videos for ages, over and over again. Eventually, she found excuses to get close to him. Arthur believed in living in the moment, wasn't interested in marriage, and had a revolving door of girlfriends. She pursued him intentionally, and they ended up having several encounters. When I found out, I confronted her. Surprisingly, she suggested that I find someone else too. She didn't care anymore. Her indifference towards me and neglect of our children was exhausting. I asked for a divorce. Initially, she resisted because dividing our assets was complicated, but she eventually gave in. Her parting words were ironic. She said being with someone free-spirited like Arthur was true happiness. She claimed the 2 weeks with Arthur brought her more joy than her entire past. According to her, I've always been too logical and stuck in a routine, unable to experience a vibrant life. I realized I hadn't seen how naive she really was. She thought she knew the secret to life, but without a solid foundation, all that carefree living was like a castle made of sand, ready to blow away with the wind. I drank too much and headed to the restroom. I passed a room with a slightly open door and heard someone ask, "Charlotte, what you did today was unexpected. I heard you and Julian grew up together. You don't like him anymore." Charlotte exhaled a smoke ring and replied, "Yeah, we grew up together. Our families set us up. I thought I liked him, but it's just the bond of friendship." His rational nature seemed boring and annoying over time. "Who do you really like?" someone teased. Charlotte pulled Arthur close. "It's Arthur, of course." Just then, someone bumped into me and pushed the door open. Everyone inside turned silent. Charlotte flicked ash from her cigarette and frowned at me. "We agreed to break up. You're not going to cling on, right? Why are you here?" Watching her deathly smoke, I wondered when she'd picked up the habit, but it wasn't my concern anymore. Arthur leaned in and kissed her dramatically, claiming his territory. "I always said you never know until the end. Charlotte chose me. Now you're not going to try to win her back, are you?" Charlotte patted Arthur on the back, assuring him, even if he begged, I'd never go back. I laughed, realizing how well-suited they were in their narcissism. "Don't worry, I'm just passing by. I'm not one to revisit the past." As I turned away, I caught Charlotte's momentarily dark expression. All the feelings from our past were gone. Seeing them together didn't stir any emotions. Then, I collided with a soft figure. I instinctively held the person's shoulders. She wore a strap dress, and her smooth skin felt like it shocked me. I quickly pulled my hands back. It was Olivia. Olivia, from a rival city, matching my age, had been studying abroad and just returned to take over her family business. In the club's flickering light, she wore a stunning red dress. Her fair skin and striking face were hard to miss. She looked up slightly, realizing she'd stumbled against me. Embarrassed, she stepped back and apologized. From the room, another voice came. "Julian's a good guy, Charlotte. You sure you don't regret it?" How many times do I need to say it? His boring, dull nature irritates me. "Can I ask something personal?" "Did you too, do it?" Charlotte laughed. "He's so reserved, waiting for an engagement, boring and stiff." Arthur piped up. "If you proposed tonight, were you going to give him your first?" "Oh, don't be mad. It didn't happen. Let's celebrate. Come home with me tonight." "That's what I'm talking about. Your first should be mine." Olivia, smiling, met my eyes, with cheeks flushed from alcohol. She softly asked, "I heard you broke up. Are you single now?" I nodded. Ready to leave, Olivia wobbled again, almost falling, and I caught her. "You okay?" She leaned against my chest, shook her head, and suddenly threw up. "Sorry." Her dress and my clothes were a mess. Olivia, looking a bit embarrassed, said, "Sorry, I drank a little too much." I sighed lightly. "No worries. Where's your friend? I can take you there." She slumped against me, saying she came alone and asked me to help her get a room upstairs, saying going home like this wasn't an option. I frowned, thinking it was late and she was a girl, drunk. We had business dealings with Olivia's family. After a bit of thought, I picked her up and headed upstairs. I stopped a passing waiter, slipped him a tip, and asked him to find someone to clean up the mess. Before she went to freshen up, I asked her for her clothing and shoe sizes. She looked at me surprised. I said, "Your dress is not wearable anymore. I'll get someone to buy some clothes for you." She gave a gentle smile, told me her sizes, and I quickly noted them down to place an order. Around this time, my roommate called, saying the dormitory would soon close and I needed to head back. I quickly explained the situation, asking them to head back without me and that I'd get a hotel room. Olivia soon finished washing up and walked out, surprising me in just a bathrobe. Despite having no makeup on, her skin was flawless and radiant, with her striking features still stunning. I couldn't bring myself to watch as droplets trickled down her collarbone and hurriedly went into the bathroom. Once I quickly tidied up and stepped out, the delivery guy had already dropped off the clothes. I handed them to her, telling her it was late and she could rest here. She asked what I'd do. I said the school dorm was locked, so I'd get another room downstairs. She looked at me and said she checked while I was in the shower, but the hotel was fully booked. I was astonished, wondering how that could be. She chuckled and asked, "Do you really not know? It's Valentine's Day today." I suddenly remembered, awkwardly hitting my forehead. I offered her the room, planning to catch a cab home, but she grabbed my sleeve. Looking at me with those innocent, clear eyes, she softly said, "It's too late today. This room has a double bed. You can stay too." After a pause, she added, "I mean, you don't have a girlfriend and I don't have a boyfriend, unless you're worried I'd do something to you." I immediately replied, "Of course not. I'm just worried about your reputation." She laughed casually and joked, "Neither of us is married, so what's the big deal? At worst, we pretend to be a couple. You're handsome, so I'm not losing out." I hesitated, and she continued, "I'm really not in a great mood today. We were high school classmates. Could you at least keep me company? I'm a bit scared alone." The plea in her eyes softened me. Checking the time on my phone, it was indeed too late, and going home meant facing questions from my parents about the proposal. So we ended up with a bed each. Suddenly, I remembered that in the past she never married, yet the business empire thrived under her leadership. There were always rumors she wasn't into men, though who really knew? Once the lights were out, my senses sharpened. Trying to relax and close my eyes, I was suddenly aware of subtle erotic sounds from elsewhere, and the fact that this hotel was fully booked for Valentine's Day dawned on me. Then a gentle voice softly asked, "Are you asleep?" "No," I replied. I heard some rustling, and a soft, warm body snuggled up to mine. I tried to move her away, but she wrapped her legs around mine, hugging my waist. Nervously swallowing, I asked, "Olivia, are you drunk?" She breathed softly in my ear. "I'm very clear-headed. I've never had a boyfriend. My first time is still intact. Want to try?" My mind went blank. "Do you realize what you're saying?" I asked. She caressed me, saying, "I'm serious. I like you and want to be your girlfriend. Would you give it a shot?" I tensed up. I just broke up today, not ready for anything new. Her lips brushed against my neck. "Then let me wait in line. When you feel ready, look for me first, okay? I'm really into you. Can we just give it a shot?" Under the influence of alcohol, the sounds from next door, and the caressing igniting sparks on my skin, I was on edge. "Are you sure you want to date me?" "I'm sure," she reaffirmed. I rolled over, taking initiative, gently kissing her. I reassured her, "Then let's try it. Be my girlfriend, and I'll grow to like you." She closed her arms around my neck, agreeing softly. "Okay." We spent the night together. The next morning, I gazed at her lovely face in my arms and felt a bit of regret about my impulsiveness. Yet, as clarity returned, I realized I didn't dislike her. I even admired her candidness and bluntness. When she woke up, her eyes momentarily dazed, but then she shyly covered her face with the blanket upon remembering last night. Seeing she wasn't upset, I felt relief. Holding her hand, I earnestly asked, "Olivia, we might have both been tipsy, but were you serious when you said you like me?" She pulled down the blanket, looking at me seriously. "Of course I meant it. Honestly, I liked you back in high school, but you were into Charlotte, so I never dared to say anything. When I heard about your failed proposal yesterday, A part of me was secretly glad. I found out you were at the bar, so I came. Stunned, I hadn't expected her to have an unspoken crush on me all these years. She looked at me, her eyes a mix of shyness and determination. I like you. Last night was consensual on my part. I know you're not into me, so I won't cling to you, don't worry. Seeing her resolve made my heart race a bit. Even though my breakup with Charlotte was fresh, feelings had faded long ago, so I hadn't felt this kind of heart flutter in years. I earnestly told her, maybe I don't like you as much as you like me now, but you're great, incredible. I think I could grow to like you a lot. So, could you be my girlfriend and give me this chance? Her eyes sparkled with tears of joy. Yes, I would. She had driven here yesterday. Handing me the car keys, I was puzzled. You're not driving? Blushing, she pouted and said, it's your fault from last night. My back's still a bit sore. I stepped forward and gave her a kiss on the lips. My bad. Why don't you relax in the car? I'll drive. I asked her, where are you heading? Let me give you a ride. She thought for a moment. I don't have much going on this weekend. Can I come with you to your school? Of course you can. As a senior, I don't have any classes left today. I just plan to move my dorm stuff back home and start working at the company again. Unexpectedly, as soon as we arrived at the school, we ran into Charlotte and Arthur. Holding Olivia's hand, I nodded at them and kept walking, but Charlotte stopped me. Where were you last night? That's my business, Charlotte. Aren't you prying a bit too much? She didn't look too happy. Someone saw you and a woman head to a hotel room upstairs last night. Was it her? I replied calmly. I'm free to be with whoever I want. If I recall correctly, we broke up yesterday, and this is my girlfriend, Olivia. Charlotte moved to slap me. We just broke up and you went off with another woman to a hotel? Were you trying to get under my skin? I furrowed my brow and blocked her hand. You've got it wrong. I have no feelings for you anymore, and I wasn't trying to upset you. Being with my girlfriend yesterday was totally natural. Please watch what you say in the future and avoid causing misunderstandings with my girlfriend and your boyfriend. Arthur's face changed when he heard that. Freeing his arm from Charlotte, he said, he can go to a hotel with whoever he wants. Why do you care so much? Are you really still hung up on him? Charlotte shot me a fierce look, but pulled Arthur's arm consolingly. I was just concerned as a neighbor. My feelings for you are genuine. My heart is only for you. That's why I chose you in front of everyone yesterday. Charlotte smirked at me. Don't get it twisted. I broke up with you yesterday because I was worried you'd hang on to me and spiral into bad habits, trying to upset me with someone else. As long as you're not, it's fine. I gave a cold laugh. People shouldn't be so full of themselves. You're not the only woman out there. You've moved on and naturally, I will have a new girlfriend too. Ignoring her furrowed brows, I took Olivia by the hand and left, getting too full of herself and having double standards. Just because Arthur chased her for 2 years, does she think she's irresistible? Olivia's eyes were sparkling as she looked at me. Did you call me your girlfriend? Looking at her eyes full of me, it seems like she really likes me. I tweaked her nose. Yeah, I said I'd be responsible for you. Besides, you're beautiful, smart, capable, and have such a great personality. It's hard not to like you. I kissed the back of her hand. I'm starting to like you a bit now, and I'll keep liking you more. She joyfully jumped into my arms. I'm so happy. You have no idea how long I've been waiting for this day. I gently stroked her hair, feeling the fire of love reignite in my heart. The drama around the Valentine's Day proposal on campus slowly faded. Charlotte and Arthur's fans grew in number. He rode a bicycle with her through campus, feeling the summer breeze, just like the leads in a campus romance drama. They kissed on a hilltop, swearing to love each other forever. They sped through the streets on a motorcycle at night, feeling the thrill of speed. They sang loudly by the sea at night, experiencing the freedom of life. They tattooed each other's initials on their waists, expressing their intense love. By now, Arthur had gained some followers on social media for his singing. Plus, he often shared couple photos and videos along with passionate love captions, attracting quite an audience. Many people said they were a perfect match, like a pair from a novel, and as Charlotte had hoped in her past life, she finally had a vibrant and carefree youth. When Charlotte posted a picture with Arthur on her social media, both families got the full scoop on everything. Mom and Dad were furious. I could only say it's better to clear these things up now than to cheat after marriage. Besides, I feel nothing for Charlotte now. I told them not to worry about it, and I've got a new girlfriend now. Mom looked at me approvingly. You're always so rational. It's good you could handle this well. By the way, who's the girlfriend? Do I know her? When can I meet her? I said I'd check with my girlfriend first. Dad, looks like we'll need a new partner for that project. I kept silent. In my past life, Charlotte and I were dating, so our businesses always considered each other first for collaborations. That project was given to Charlotte back then, but I knew she wasn't the best fit. It was just that I didn't want to let the opportunity slip away from family ties. Plus, it made our families closer. But in this life, since becoming a family is off the table, we should only consider which partnership brings the most benefits. During college, I worked part-time at the company, which made transitioning to full-time after graduation a breeze. Besides the daily grind, I'd hit up business events, gaining experience and expanding my network. This weekend, I attended an elder's 80th birthday party. After greeting a few family members with Dad, I found a quiet spot to rest. That's when Charlotte's sister approached with a drink. Didn't think my sis would break up with you. I replied plainly, the end of a journey. She took a sip, eyes evaluating. Heard Julian's project hasn't found a partner yet. I shook my head. No clue. Dad's handling it. She seemed to catch on, chuckling softly. My dear sister threw away a winning hand. She might not even end up with the short end of the stick. I offered no comment. She looked at me with a playful smile and said, you know I'm only 2 years older than you. If you're looking for an alliance, we could work together. What do you think? I politely declined, mentioning I already had a girlfriend and said I wanted to be alone for a while to get her to leave. Nearby, I heard a teasing voice. Our Mr. Julian is quite popular. I turned to see Olivia, looking stunning in her off-the-shoulder gown. With her red lips and fair skin, she caught my eye. No matter how popular I am, I'm yours, I said. She laughed mischievously, wrapping her arm around my shoulder. Good realization, boyfriend. I held her hand tightly. Her skin was fair, and her mesmerizing eyes shone brightly. She was beautiful. Charlotte, on the other hand, was more of a cool beauty. Seeing me staring at her, Olivia asked, puzzled, why are you staring? Something on my face. I leaned closer to her ear and whispered, you're just too beautiful to look away from. I find myself liking you more each day. Her face turned red, but she confidently said, then you better keep liking me more and more. Of course. She bit her lip nervously. Charlotte's sister mentioned marriage alliance with your family. What do you think? I raised my eyebrow, teasing her. I'm going to marry my girlfriend, of course. Besides, our family doesn't need an alliance for me to run the company well. Or are you saying you just want to date, but not marry me? She stomped her foot in a hurry. Of course not. I'm saying if you want an alliance, you could choose me. My family's just as good as Charlotte's. I looked at her seriously. I said I want to marry you because I like you, not for some alliance deal. In wealthy families, marriages often make families closer, collaborate more, and help business growth. But it comes with a risk. Benefits bring people together, but they can also tear them apart. I know my abilities. Even without an alliance, I can manage the company just fine. Olivia squeezed my hand tighter. I knew I didn't like the wrong person. Just as I was about to say something else, I heard whispers from a distance. Looking over, I realized Charlotte had arrived, bringing Arthur along. They both were still in their biker gear, sticking out among the sea of formal suits and dresses. Charlotte's father was whispering something angrily to her. Arthur seemed carefree, holding Charlotte's arm and glancing around. Are you hungry? Didn't you just have fried noodles? Charlotte let Arthur in. I've never been to a fancy party. I want to see if rich people's food is really that good. All right, whatever you want. They acted all lovey-dovey, as if no one else was around. Arthur picked up a snack, snapped a selfie, then came over to us, circling around with a baked treat. You rich folks sure like to make a thing of birthdays, huh? Suit and gowns just to say happy birthday. Someone nearby couldn't hold back. That's just how you dress for events. It's polite, and you're here in biker gear with messy hair. You're the one being disrespectful. Arthur ruffled his hair. I'm all about that laid-back vibe. The birthday dude even said we're the breath of fresh air, youthful and genuine, unlike you guys pretending every day. Isn't that tiring? His words sparked anger among those who heard, not to mention toward Charlotte. She shielded Arthur, saying, Arthur is straightforward, hope you don't mind. But he ain't wrong, you know. In her past life, she was top dog, used to flattery. But now, being cold like this without being a part of the family business made people unhappy. Someone her age asked, Charlotte, what do you even see in him? Julian's got it all sorted, status, looks, skills. Suddenly, all eyes were on me. Charlotte frowned my way. First, Julian's great, but Arthur is the best for me. Then she grabbed Arthur's hand, saying she loved his openness, making her happy and relaxed. Arthur boldly planted a kiss on her right there, shocking everyone. Someone scoffed. What is this, a soap opera? I heard later, after the party, Charlotte's dad was mad, told her to break up with Arthur, apologized to me, and reconciled since I was better for her career. Charlotte refused, leading to a heated disagreement. I, however, was relieved Charlotte was off my radar entirely. She should rather stick with Arthur. Don't turn back to me, or I'd feel sick and lose sleep. In the end, my dad decided to work with Olivia's project, and she joined the team. He had nothing but good words for her skills. When she first came over for dinner, my parents were impressed. We thrived in our companies, stayed in touch, our love growing stronger. 2 years later, I planned a grand proposal, inviting friends and family, asking Olivia to marry me. She tearfully said yes, and we hugged in joy. Throughout those 2 years, Charlotte and Arthur lived joyfully. They got married just 6 months in and even live-streamed their wedding. The Arthur who swore off marriage finally did with Charlotte, the one she boldly claimed to marry. We have different pursuits and lifestyles now, and I thought that was the end of it. But life seems like a book of mistakes, and there's always someone who ends up undoing everything they did before. Charlotte started working at a company, and Arthur became a rock singer. I've heard from friends that they've broken up and gotten back together multiple times. Their fans keep growing, and with Charlotte's background, their relationship frequently makes it to the trending topics. Yet the news about their recent breakup hasn't stopped. There are pictures of Charlotte and Arthur arguing and videos of Arthur dancing closely with other women in bars. I just skimmed through it like tabloid news and focused on my busy work and wedding preparations. After work, Olivia was holding my hand, and we were about to leave when I got a call from an unexpected number. As I answered, I was told to look to the side. Not far away, Charlotte was standing there with her phone, looking at me. Olivia gripped my hand tightly, and I gently reassured her. Give me a second. It's probably work-related. I'll be right back. Being in the same circle, I've met Charlotte a few times, mostly at work events. She lightly kissed my forehead, almost marking her territory, which made me chuckle. When I approached Charlotte, I caught a strong smell of smoke. I gave her a neutral look. Charlotte, work stuff is better talked about during office hours. She forced a slight smile. How have you been lately? I raised my eyebrows. Pretty good. She didn't seem to want to talk about work, so I was ready to say goodbye and leave, but she lit another cigarette. I'm not doing so well. I frowned at her, and only from her opening up did I learn that since she started working, she's had less time for Arthur. Yet Arthur continued his carefree lifestyle, constantly partying with friends and sometimes getting close to other women. Naturally, this led to Charlotte questioning him, and their arguments became more frequent. Arthur argued Charlotte wasn't there for him, while Charlotte believed he didn't understand the pressure she felt to support a family. Arthur shrugged it off, saying, "Live for the moment," questioning the need to earn so much money. Charlotte liked a free and passionate life, but desired financial comfort too. Back at school, family support was a safety net, but now as a graduate, she had to earn for herself. Charlotte has one older sister and 2 younger brothers. 2 are illegitimate, but recognized by the family. The internal struggle is intense. In the past life, with support from my family, she gained significant control in her family business. This time around, without my help, even with the memories of a past life, her situation isn't great. She gave a sardonic laugh. I was just too frustrated, thought I'd find someone to talk to, and ended up here. Do you think I've failed? I replied calmly. Everyone has their path. Success or failure depends on how you see it. How you're doing now isn't my concern. I've got a fiancé. Maybe find someone else next time for a chat. Charlotte stared at me, seemingly wanting to continue, but I interrupted her. My fiancé's waiting. I'm leaving, bye. A month before our wedding, news broke about Arthur getting drunk and booking a room with someone. Details were all over social media, and people were buzzing. Charlotte was caught by reporters at her office entrance, looking utterly worn out. Their questions were sharp, and during a live broadcast, she flung a microphone before pushing through the crowd. I skimmed this news and moved on to policy updates. I then got a call from the main person in that live stream. Her breathing was heavy. Julian, I regret everything. Can we get back together? Charlotte, there's no more feelings between us. Don't say things like that. But in the last life, I was your wife. We were meant to be together. Her tone sent a chill down my spine. I don't know what you're talking about. If it's not work-related, stop calling me. After I hung up, there was an unsettling feeling in my gut. Next day, I couldn't reach Olivia, which was unusual. Later, I got a call from Charlotte, claiming Olivia was with her and giving a location at the school's rooftop. Olivia was pinned near the edge by Charlotte, shaking her head no, gesturing me to leave. I faced Charlotte, barely containing my anger. Charlotte, what do you think you're doing? This is kidnapping, you know that. Charlotte looked at me steadily, then suddenly fell to her knees, speaking softly. Julian, I made mistakes. The one truly meant for me is you, not Arthur. Can we start over? Planning my next move? I said. We could, but let Olivia go first. She glanced at me with a slightly deranged smile. You're lying. If I let her go, you won't be with me, right? Standing up, she laughed almost carelessly. Doesn't matter if you say no, Julian. Do you believe in past lives? We were married, we were happy, with a perfect family. Everyone envied us. This life has been a mistake, and now I want things to go back to how they were. I felt a cold jolt. What does she mean by that? Charlotte looked at her watch and said there was half an hour left before we could start over. I glanced at my phone, suddenly remembering my plane crash in a past life was only half an hour away. I stared at Charlotte in shock. Are you crazy, Charlotte? You've chosen the life you wanted. Just because things aren't going well, you want to risk your life to reincarnate again? Do you know when I was reborn, I was right at the moment of proposing. If it had worked out, we would be married by now, and we'd be happy. I gave a cold smile. Really happy? Even if you were with me, you'd probably still be thinking about Arthur, wouldn't you? Her eyes had a wild look. But not this time. This time, we'll go back to the beginning and start over. I promise we'll have a good life together. I calmed myself, switched places with Olivia, and Charlotte threw down a syringe for me to inject myself with. She said it would just make me weak, otherwise she'd have no chance against my strength. I took a deep breath and injected it into my body. Slowly walking towards her, unsure what I had just put into my body, I felt my strength fading. Charlotte finally pushed Olivia aside, grabbed my hand, eyes both tender and wild. 10 more minutes, and we can jump together and start fresh. The police burst out from behind the door and freed Olivia. Then Arthur rushed in. Charlotte, I knew you still had feelings for Julian. What now? Are you trying to die together? Charlotte glanced at Arthur and sneered. Looking back now, the time with you seemed fun, but was actually pretty boring. It was just drinking and partying, nothing meaningful. Arthur laughed bitterly. Then you should have broken up. Saying it's boring now, but weren't you the wildest back then? Now that you're tired of it, it's no fun anymore. I really regret marrying you. If I could do it over, I'd stay far away. Charlotte nodded. Exactly why I want to start over. She checked the time and murmured, Time's up. I was shocked. Charlotte, even if we do it over, I still wouldn't choose you. She laughed loudly. That's not up to you. With that, she pushed me off, following right after. Luckily, I had called the police beforehand. They used a drone to check the rooftop and set up safety measures and an ambulance below. We landed on a safety cushion. Charlotte cursed like crazy. You bastards. Who asked you to save me? Why save me? I spent half a month in the hospital. Thankfully, the drugs in the syringe weren't too harmful. Charlotte was diagnosed with a mental disorder, and her family admitted her to a psychiatric hospital. Arthur caused a scene at Charlotte's house, demanding a divorce, which was eventually arranged by their families. 2 weeks later, Olivia and I had our wedding as planned. Later, we had 2 kids. One took her last name, the other mine. We walked hand in hand through the years. Those who give their heart receive the same in return.